This is a story about a family that lived in a small African town where tradition dictated the lives of its inhabitants. In this village, a young girl named Tahama was born into a world where her fate was not her own. On the dusty outskirts of a small African village called Suglu, there lived a poor family who lived modestly. Their simple huts, constructed from mud bricks and thatched with reeds, provided little shelter from the scorching sun or the biting winds that swept across their arid landscape. Tahama's parents, weary from years of hardship, worked on their unforgiving land with calloused hands, and their backs were broken from hard labor. They spent their days tending to the dying crops that stubbornly clung to life in the parched soil. They also spent their days praying for the rain that rarely came and cursing the pests that ravaged their meager harvest. Life was very tough for the couple, and it seemed there were no better days ahead of them. Tahama's parents were burdened by poverty, and they were completely buried in debt which they had no way of paying back. In fact, things were so bad they just had to find a way to survive. So when an 80-year-old man named Mufaro expressed interest in their daughter, they turned him down at first, but eventually they got swayed by the promises of wealth and made a decision that will forever alter the course of their daughter's life. At the tender age of 16, they sold Tahama to the rich 80-year-old man named Mufaro, who already had 3 wives to his name. What do you think about Tahama's parents' decision? Was it wrong of them to sell their daughter? Tell me your thoughts in the comment section below. Mufaro was a wealthy man known for his business skills and social status. He valued family and tradition, and this was evident from his possession of multiple wives. However, his affluence overshadowed his capacity for genuine emotional connection and empathy, leading to complexities in his relationships. To Mufaro, Tahama was merely another addition to his already bustling household, a young bride that would make him feel better, who would integrate into his already established lifestyle. Mufaro refused to recognize the significance of Tahama beyond her role as another wife in his domain. Tahama's arrival, on the other hand, disrupted the delicate balance of power within Mufaro's household. A seed of jealousy and competition erupted amongst the other wives of Mufaro, since they were all vying for the affection and attention of Mufaro. So guys, smash the like button if you're already enjoying this video, and drop some red loves in the comment section below to show me you are enjoying the story. As I said earlier, to Mufaro's 3 wives, Tahama was a threat to their own position within the household. So as Tahama came into her new life as the 4th wife of Mufaro, she quickly learned that her youth and beauty were both a blessing and a curse. The other wives, consumed by jealousy and insecurity, made sure that Tahama knew her place. And despite all the hardship that Tahama had to face, her spirit remained unbroken. She dreamed of an escape, of a life where she could be free from the shackles of traditions and the cruelty of those who sought to tear her down. Her longing for freedom grew stronger with each passing day. However, in the society where she found herself, escape from a forced marriage, especially a marriage that paid a parent's debt, was often an impossible endeavor. There was no way Tahama could escape from her marriage, so she decided to lay low. But Tahama's yearning for freedom saw an unexpected turn when her husband Mufaro suddenly passed away. Well, the man was over 80 years, so he was old, and Tahama was thrust into an unexpected role of a widow. Despite the sorrow of loss of a husband, this event signaled the dawn of a new chapter in Tahama's life. With Mufaro's absence, the chains of her constrained existence began to loosen, and Tahama dared to envision a future liberated from the confines of her former marriage. But do you think it was wrong of Tahama to feel freedom and joy after her 80-year-old husband passed away? Drop your thoughts in the comment section. On one fateful night, Tahama's chance for freedom finally came. Unknown to the other three wives, Tahama fled their household, leaving behind everything. Alone and afraid, she journeyed to a distant city where fate would smile upon her in the form of a kind-hearted merchant lady named Mama Kasi. Mama Kasi was a rare sensation. She stood out as a formidable presence in the world of business, with her success defying traditional gender roles. At this time, Tahama was still new to the city of Fogwe, and she was struggling to survive. And in the midst of the bustling market of Fogwe, Tahama noticed a vendor struggling to sell his goods despite their high quality. Sensing an opportunity, Tahama approached the vendor and struck up a conversation with him. She told the vendor that she could help him sell out all his goods, well, for a little cut, of course. Openi Kumi, the vendor, was very skeptical but still decided to entertain the idea. And with a very keen eye for details and a natural intuition for business, Tahama began to rearrange the display to highlight the most appealing items, and she even offered special promotions to attract customers. And to Openi Kumi's surprise, sales began to soar. Mama Kasi, the wealthy merchant lady, happened to witness Tahama's ability from afar, and intrigued by Tahama's business insights and impressed by her ability to drive success, Mama Kasi approached Tahama. Through their chats, Mama Kasi recognized Tahama's untapped potential and saw an opportunity to mentor her in the world of business. She took Tahama under her wing and taught her the ways of trade and commerce. After a while, Mama Kasi started seeing Tahama as a daughter since she had no children of her own. And through patience and hard work, Tahama blossomed under Mama Kasi's guidance. Years passed and Tahama became a skilled merchant in her own right, ready to inherit Mama Kasi's thriving business. But Tahama had no idea that fate had another twist in store for her. As Tahama's life prospered, tragedy struck her former village. A devastating drought and famine ravaged the land, forcing its inhabitants, including Tahama's own parents, to flee in search of fertile ground. Tahama's parents found themselves seeking refuge in the very city where their daughter now thrived. They were hoping to find help or perhaps a job, since the dowry they had obtained from Mufaro was all spent. Arriving at the bustling city of Fogwe and worn out from their long travels, Tahama's parents wandered the streets, their faces carved with worry and uncertainty. To their surprise, one day, they witnessed a familiar face walking around with brimming confidence, clothed in expensive clothes and escorted by two massive guards. Surely this is our daughter, they thought. So they followed this lady at a distance, making sure that they were not discovered. Tahama was returning home from work after a busy day at the merchant's shop. She finally arrived at her destination, and all this time her parents were following her. Tahama was politely greeted by workers in her household, and her parents could not believe what they were seeing. Their daughter was living in this mansion they could not even dream of entering. What happened within those years they hadn't seen her? They kept asking themselves. However, for them, although they felt bad for selling her in the past, the gravity of their current situation felt overwhelming, and so with what seemed like a glimmer of hope, they were prepared to hang onto it for dear life. And after all, with nowhere else to turn to, they eventually found themselves standing outside the gates of the grand estate where Tahama now resided, their last hope resting on the daughter they had forsaken long ago. As Tahama learned of her parents' arrival, her heart became flooded with different emotions. Despite the pain of their abandonment, she could not turn her back on them, especially in their time of need. They were still her parents and they gave her life. However, there was a little something that seemed to be missing. Her love for them was simply no more. She had now found love, solace and family in Mama Kasi. In the end, it was an act of compassion that guided Tahama's hand. She welcomed her parents into her home, and her parents were ever so grateful for giving birth to her. As Tahama's parents settled into Tahama's home, they couldn't help but notice the distance in their daughter's demeanor. Despite her hospitality, there was a slight reserve in her interactions with them. She had her guard up around them all the time, and they knew it was because of the wounds they had inflicted on her many years ago when they sold her to an old man at the age of 16 and never bothered to look for her. As the days turned into weeks, the truth became very clear. Tahama's care for them stemmed from a sense of duty and compassion rather than the unconditional love they had hoped for. This realization really crushed Tahama's parents, and each kind gesture from Tahama felt like a reminder of their past mistakes. So they agreed to beg Tahama, and indeed they begged her, they sought for forgiveness, they cried, and in fact they were very remorseful, hoping to earn the forgiveness of their daughter. They told Tahama to take all the time she needed to heal, hoping that perhaps one day they would earn their daughter's forgiveness. Tahama's parents vowed to cherish the opportunity Tahama had given them and to make amends, however fleeting it may be. Always remember to apologize when you hurt someone deeply. Who knows, they may forgive you. And that's all for the story, guys. If the story captured your imagination, be sure to subscribe, like and share the video, and remember to journey through this channel for more captivating African tales. Until next time, remain safe and stay blessed. Bye bye.